Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Parasha Pointers, where we discuss and we delve into the weekly Parasha to try to gain some insight how we could raise our children in the proper way. In this week's Parasha, we have an amazing dedication, Mr. and Mrs. Lee Cohen, in honor of me. Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Lee Cohen, for sponsoring this week's edition of Parsha Pointers. The pasuk says, "Ki tikneh eved ivri shesh shanim ya'avod u'shivat yaseh harshi hinam." When you acquire a Hebrew slave, he shall work for 6 years, and then in the 7th year he should go free without any payment. He goes free. Now, this is the famous sugya of slavery. We know that in the Jewish way of life, the Torah prescribes if a person steals and he cannot pay back his debt, the court sells him and they take that money and they pay back his debt. But now he's an indentured servant for the next 6 years. And now he has to stay by this master for 6 years at this point. So basically, that's how he pays back. What's very interesting, says Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, is that there's no prison system. There's no prison. He goes to someone's house. He works there. His family comes. He serves his master. And when he's living in that house, he learns how to live a proper life because he's around a proper person and a good family. And he's rehabilitated. Rather than just sending him to a prison, which doesn't work. And he sits in that prison. He only, that's the punishment. But how is he learning how to act in life? No, that's not how the Torah works. We want to rehabilitate the person. And I want to talk a little bit about the difference between punishment and discipline. When we punish a child, it's important to have punishments when they do the wrong thing. But discipline is using the time of punishment, but on top of that, teaching them the proper behavior moving forward. So, if I don't want my child to do the wrong thing, it's very important that he knows that if he does the wrong thing, there's a consequence. If he does something wrong, he might get grounded, he might lose something. There's going to be consequences. But at the same time, there has to be the question, why did he do that? Why'd you do that? And you got to get to the core of why it happened. There could be many reasons why a child would do the wrong thing. For example, maybe he's lacking self-confidence. He doesn't have interest. He wants attention. He's exhausted. He's not going to bed late. He's not motivated. You got to get to the core of the issue. Maybe he has an anger problem. What's causing the anger? If he's lashing out and doing the wrong thing. So our job as parents is not just to stop bad behavior, but how do we guide the proper behavior? This is a big move. This is a big lesson. This is what we're learning from the Eved Ivri. The Torah doesn't just say, go throw him into the jail. No. Why'd you do that? You did that because you don't know how to act. So let me put you in the right, proper environment that you can learn to be a person. This is really, really big. We have to take the opportunities when our children do the wrong thing to teach them how to do the right thing. That's the best opportunity. You can turn it into a positive. There's a story that I saw of the Maharal Diskin. He was a great rabbi, Rabbi Yoshua Leib Diskin. He lived in the 1800s. And he had to go on the road. He had he had to travel somewhere, and he got delayed, and it was freezing cold. He had to stay the night in a town that he didn't really know anybody. And he found the house of a Jew, and he knocked on the door, and the Jew's like, "Hi, I don't know who you are. I'll let you stay, but I have this big Rebbe, this big rabbi coming to my house. He's staying tonight. You can't really stay. You know what? Go in the corner." He put him in the corner. He was sitting on the floor, and all of a sudden the Rebbe comes. A few hours later, he looks in the corner. He sees this. He goes, "That's the Maharal Diskin. He's like the Gadol Hador. He's like the biggest rabbi of the generation. Why is he sitting on the floor?" The host is like, "I didn't know it was him." After, begging for forgiveness, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know if I would have known." The Maharal just said, "Listen, don't apologize, but you have to be my guest in my house for 2 weeks." And so it happened. He told his family, "Only I'm going to deal with this person. Nobody else could help him, not with anything. I'm in charge of doing everything." And he waited on him hand and foot for 2 weeks. And at the end, the person realized that the Maharal Diskin wasn't looking just to admonish him. He was looking to show him, how do you treat people? What's the right way to treat a guest, no matter who they may be? And that's what we have to do. That's our job. By the way, that's our job with all the people we come in contact to. If you have a run-in with somebody, it's not just about, getting angry for what he did. Try to help him. He's your brother. And that's the message from this week's Parasha. Shabbat Shalom.